Sergeant Major Alex Rushton, welcome to episode 2 of the Mental War.
Thanks for having me, brother.
You and I have known each other for a couple of years. We're neighbors, right?
About 3 years coming up, I think.
Have you guys been here that long already?
Yeah,
3 years?
come up in May.
You're recently retired from the United States Army. You did 21 years. Your MOS was 11 Zulu, an infantry sergeant. You have 2 deployments, 2 to Iraq. Or you have 4 deployments, correct? Excuse me, 4 deployments, 2 to Iraq, 2 to Afghanistan. Iraq, March 2003 to March 2004. Where were you at?
So actually, I was with the 101st back then. It was just during the invasion process. So we went through all the way from Kuwait, air assaulted up through Najaf, Karbala, Baghdad, and we finally ended up in Mosul for the remaining 7 months or so from there. But yeah, so much too time.
Wow. I missed it. I came in late, man. I wanted to go to Iraq. I wish I would have been there for that, especially for the invasion.
Yeah, I just barely made it as far as age-wise, but I turned 19 on a plane over there, so just in
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
And tomorrow's actually my birthday, so it's an
Happy early birthday,
anniversary
bro.
from tomorrow. Tonight is an anniversary when I went to Iraq the first time.
Get out of town.
Yeah, so
Wow.
pretty crazy. 21 years ago. Wow.
21 years. Dude, that's too. Wow.
Wow.
Math for Marines.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the math. That's an infantry.
Where were you at your second deployment? December of 2005 to December 2006.
It was in Bakuba, Iraq. For most of that time, we kind of just stayed around that area. We'd go a little bit north, a little bit south of there, but that was that whole deployment. It was Bakuba, Normandy was up there, and Ashraf. That was where the Marine base was at. So we actually worked with you guys too up there. 05. Good time there too.
I was still in high school. I graduated June 2005.
Okay.
So you were in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And then you went to Afghanistan twice. Afghanistan, June 2008 to July 2009, and then December 2010 to December 2011. You and I were there relatively the same time.
Yeah.
Where were you at for your 2008?
It was in Nuristan province, northeastern.
Okay.
A little arm of Afghanistan that goes to China.
Yeah.
Right, a little armpit right there, basically.
How far was that from Bagram?
Oh, well, it's way up north. It's one of the further
Oh,
up north.
so Bagram's
yeah.
not even a thing?
Oh,
Okay.
no.
I've been as far as Bagram.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, you guys are always south.
Up by J-Bad?
Yeah, J-Bad was the closest, large, where the brigade was at. And so we were way up there. Just platoon cops up there. It was Cop Lowell, Cop Keating, one of our other sister troops, because I was in a cavalry unit then. And they actually, Keating got overran 3 months after we left in 2009, October. There's a movie about it, Outpost.
Yeah, they made the Outpost about it on Netflix, right? Yeah, I watched that. It was crazy.
It was a wild one.
Crazy.
Very
Did you know anybody that was there that got, while they got overran, did you know anybody?
No, I didn't know anybody before. I met some afterwards, but before I never knew anybody. It was a pretty good thing. There's just a little bit about that movie. I was kind of because the first 2 commanders were actually the previous units. The first one was 173rd. Kavieleskis, he was in our squadron, 6-4 Cav, and he was Bravo troop commander. But they made it seem like it was all that same. I mean, obviously it fits for the movie, but to all 3 commanders lost from that company, but it was actually previous units that lost them. That was the only thing they had wrong with that.
Oh, really? So it wasn't the same?
Yeah, they didn't lose all 3 commanders. It was.
When I watched that, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just one after
They still had a rough time.
Didn't one of the guys that drove off, they drove off the side of the road that went off?
Oh, yeah. And I believe that was the first one. That was 173rd, their guy.
Dude.
Yeah. Rough, man.
Awful,
those things is cliff, road, river.
Oh my
and
gosh.
all room out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Crazy time.
Your December 2010, 2011.
That was in Paktia/Paktika province. It was my platoon was at Cop Dicey. that we had. Like Cock Wilderness was, and then Salerno was like where the brigade was at.
Yeah.
Salerno was like the big base, similar to like Jalalabad or whatever, but that was a fun one. Especially in the platoon sergeant. That was probably the funnest. My last deployment was definitely a good one.
Yeah. You guys did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the old one was actually pretty mellow, if you will, for being over there, for what the previous deployments looked like. That one was a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more, Afghanis taking over the ANA, the ANP, doing a little bit more, just working alongside of them. So it was
Good deal. I was down Helmand Province, man,
Yeah.
down in the desert.
all the way down south.
Yeah. I don't remember even seeing an animal.
Yeah.
So even birds, but
There's elusive snow leopards up there.
well, awesome. So the big picture about this is mental health, right?
Yeah.
But again, I like to do the introduction and kind of just transition to my only scripted question is, when did you first experience a mental health crisis?
So the first time I didn't even realize it was a mental health crisis, because I remember it was in 05, 06 deployment. I'm not sure the month, but previously we've been hit by an IED, me and my commander, or my platoon leader, and that truck just destroyed, flipped it up. 2 double stack anti-tank mines, and the truck was destroyed. Everyone was good. Our gunner got thrown out of the vehicle, and it was pretty extreme. Everyone. We were actually going to a recovery mission because another soldier from the scout platoon we were on a QRF mission because they got hit and they had lost a soldier to KIA. So we went up there, recovered, just a QRF mission / recovery mission. And when we turned off the hardball onto a dirt road was when my platoon leader, because he was TC in my truck, or my driver was driving his truck, so I made sure I went along with him, because my truck was getting worked on from damage it got from previous ID that blew up on the side of it and just damaged my truck, but no one was hurt. And then, so I was like, if my driver goes, I'm going to go with you, of course,
right.
And so I was in the back seat with him. And as we turn onto the hardball, or off the hardball, and the platoon leader, Captain Stoltz, says, "Hey, slow down. That might be and then just hit. And so just flipped the truck up. I'm not sure if it went on its side or over, and hit another one, and it's back on the road again. And we were just kind of trapped in the truck, and for a little while, because the whole frame just canted over, just crooked. But at first, when I came to, I was just telling my driver, "Go, go, go, go!" And he was yelling, of course. And then flames just started coming through right outside the gun, or the gunner's hatch, and it was just like a chimney. And my platoon leader, he was like, I thought he was conscious, he was good, but then he wasn't doing anything. So I was like, sir, like, come on. And we couldn't get his door open. So he kicked his way to the back, and he's a big man. He's like 6'6", he's a big guy, and he gets back onto, and we finally get my door open because the combat locks are kind of jammed. So we open the door up and get out, and you just hear little pop shots, and then you hear because we were lead trucks, so we hear the trail vehicles and all their 50 cal start opening up, and because there was just pop shots on, obviously, when you get here with IEDs. So they just returned fire for a while, and we finally made it back to the truck, and it was just, we were just all out of it and just trying to realize what happened. But everyone was okay. Everyone was good. We were all, my lieutenant, or platoon leader, his whole leg was it was already just bruised up, just completely purple, the whole thing.
Like instantaneously.
It was crazy, because he was like, we were trying to look at it, and we were all kind of in and out a little bit, didn't really. And I said, we had to get, obviously, another Humvees, just sitting on each other's laps and stuff to finish up to the QRF mission when we were headed out to do it in the first place. And as we got there, I was like leaning my head on my battle buddy, Schuler, who actually went OIF1 with together, and we went to Carson together and went to this deployment. We were squad leaders together, and I was leaning on him, and he's like, "Hey man, your ear's bleeding." I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're bleeding out your ear real bad." And I was like, "What?" So then I just realized it was just all down my neck and stuff, and it was just this crazy. But obviously, when we get back, because we just had a KIA, and the scouts had other injuries and stuff, so we make it back to the aid station, and the PA comes out and says, "Hey, do you want to go over anything? Do you want to like look?" And they did a quick scan. "Are you guys good?" We're like, "We're good," because clearly we're good, because we just lost soldiers and stuff, and people have visible injuries. Back in 05, we're not thinking about the
You're just looking
other
up.
injuries,
You're up
the
or down,
brain,
right?
TBI stuff. We weren't really talking about that. It was just kind of, you're good, you're bleeding. Other than that, that's just a blown eardrum probably, so we're good. And then lieutenant guy, he got, just take some Motrin basically, treated a couple little things, he
Yeah.
had little cuts and stuff like that. But I remember, and then probably about maybe 3 weeks later, we're on just a routine mission. We were just went a little bit north from Fob, Warhorse, and just doing a routine mission somewhere in this little village. And we knew the people, it's fine, everything ever happened there. We got out of the truck as we were getting out of the truck, and I was the TC on the truck, and we started walking, and for some reason, I just had this rush of anxiety and just like I was terrified, and over nothing had happened. It was just completely just a normal day, just a normal mission. We're just walking through the vehicles, and the vehicle patrol base was following behind. We're just kind of walking through the streets, talking to the kids, talking to the villagers and stuff. And I went to my PL and I was like, "Sir, something's going on." He's like, "You good?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "My heart, my head." He's like, "I don't know what's going on." He was like, "Okay, well, let's go back to the truck." So I'm walking back to the truck, and it was in sight, so I didn't want to go with me. I was walking to the truck, and the vision just went down, tunnel vision, and I kind of went down to a knee. And then my driver got out. He came forward. He's like, "You good, son?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good." He's like, "Get in the truck." But the whole time in the truck, I just couldn't breathe. Like I could not breathe, and I didn't know why. I had no. So I was like, "Oh, it's a heart attack, or it's something else, something medical that I can't." There's clearly an explanation to this, and it's a health reason. So again, I took my vest off, and you shouldn't do that, of course, in sector. But I was sitting in my truck, like, oh my gosh. Medic came over from the platoon sergeant's truck, and he was talking to me. He's like, "You good?" I don't know. So he gave me some pills and stuff, and it, kind of eased me down. But I didn't know what it was, and it never even didn't happen again for a long time, until he came back home. But I never even thought mental health would ever be the reason why. That was my reason why. So that was my first memorable moment where I had a mental health crisis, but I just brushed under the rug like all the other ones.
Yeah, you're like, well, when did you really start noticing that whatever happened with the trauma that, I'd say you earned trauma, because my whole thought process behind it is what I had to do with mine is I had to take responsibility for it and realize that I don't want it. You think I want the night sweats, the terror, the intrusive thought? I don't want any of that, but I had to own it and take responsibility for it. And once I did, it kind of just it changed my whole perspective of how to approach things. So when did you, when did you notice it, however many years or however many times it took, but at what point did you notice that it was affecting your life, your home life, to where it was significantly making a damaging difference, I guess if you could phrase it.
So it was after that deployment. So we came home in December 06, and then we PCS. So my first deployment was with Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 101st, and the second one with that event happened and the IEDs and stuff was Fort Carson, 4th ID. And then after that, I volunteered to go back again when I re-enlisted to go to Fort Hood, where they were standing up 1st Infantry Division there. So we went there just like a little 3rd Brigade combat team. It was a makeshift. We were just borrowing other units as buildings and stuff. But when we got there, because I knew I was going back, I knew I was going to a different place. I've been to Iraq twice, and now I'm getting ready to go to Afghanistan. And Tara and I, my wife Tara, we've been married at that point. Let's see, this was 07 when we got there. So we've been married about 3 years at this point, and I'm getting ready for my 3rd year overseas. And the first 2 years, everything was great, everything was good. I mean, we've always had a great marriage, but I just started becoming so much more, just on edge, and just something so minute, like they call them, like I think it was Dane Cook, the comedian, one time, he said something about the nothing fights in the stores, and you hear the nothing fights, and it's the grocery store, and they just love to egg it on about picking the wrong pickles or whatever it was. But that was so real. I mean, it was a funny thing to think, but it was like I would get mad. I would get so angry over the stupidest things. It was just like, and I knew it was ridiculous, but I would just, there was so much anger, nothing to do with my wife, nothing to do with my son at the time, and soon to be my daughter was about to be born. But it was just catching. But I still didn't want to, because of course, even the stigma, especially back then, of mental health and seeking treatment and seeking help and whatnot. And so I was like, I'm not gonna go. I got this. So I just buried myself in with my shoulders and just work and training and training and training. It was nonstop physical fitness all the time, just to not have to face, you knew something was wrong, but you just don't want to face it. And then right before we deployed, we had to talk to all these, health people. Like they were coming through, and I didn't, kid and we're like, nope, not going there, not going to see. We used to joke about it, say off to see the wizard. Like they're gonna go to the wizard, off to see the wizard, because you had to go to mental health. And that was kind of like the stigma back then, and you don't want to go off to see the wizard. But MFLAC came around. I'm not sure if the Marines do that. It's military family life counselor, consultant. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we have something like that.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's phrased that professional.
Yeah. I just had to think of it right now. I don't think that's the actual, but it's something along those lines. MFLAC. Yeah. Kind of like AFLAC, but MFLAC. And so they are not military. They're funded, I believe, by the military, but none of they don't have any records. They don't write anything down unless it's like you're going to harm yourself, you're going to harm somebody else.
Right.
The things they
have. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. We have that. It's called like the Family Readiness Officer, or that the Family Readiness Officer program gets you to that.
Yep. And that's, they normally work with
transition to, I can't remember the therapist's name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
But they would meet you at like Burger King or wherever, and you go and you just talk to them. And I did that one time. They kind of like con you into it. You had to go see them for 30 minutes. And so you just sat there. I think we had to, for a long time we were talking about, and you just sit there for 30 minutes and just, because you have to. And a lot of the soldiers had never deployed, so they didn't have any, they didn't really know. I sat there for about 29 minutes and just small talk. And then she said, "Do you want to talk somewhere else?" I was like, "I would love that." She said, "Not today, not." So she gave me her number, gave me her card, so we reached out to her, and I think it was Burger King or somewhere like that on Fort Hood, and went and talked to her, and it was still something simple, but it was just like, oh wow, I can actually address this. Not that she understands it, but at least she knows how to kind of help steer better decisions, better breathing techniques, things like that, just real simple, on the spot, brain games, kind of stuff like that to help with the process. And that was extremely helpful at the moment in time, but it was kind of like almost too late because I was getting ready to ramp back up again, head back over to Afghanistan. So,
wow. Let's take a break real quick. Yeah. All right, we're back from the break. Where did we leave off at?
Just finishing up with the MFLAC and getting ready to ramp back up to Afghanistan a little bit. Too late on my part to reach out to somebody. Granted, they reached out to me, but still, just a little too late.
Did you show signs for them? Did you display signs for them to reach out, or did they just go off of what?
I think that they were just pretty trained. I didn't think I was trying not to. And then like 29 minutes, that's when the 1 minute left. I want to go talk somewhere else. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Because, she'd probably been set through thousands of soldiers coming through, not her, but the whole team, just kind of SRP stuff, just check the block through the process. But it was good though. She clearly saw something, because not everyone met her afterwards at Burger King, or at least maybe she offered everybody, I'm not sure, but I definitely took her up on it.
Definitely. When did you, after that, how long was it? Well, what happened after that? I mean, did you get any, so after you saw her, what happens from that point until the next time that you had a crazy, I mean, have you had any at-risk moments?
I did, and during that time when I was home, but prior to that, Afghanistan, when at Fort Hood, really Fort Hood was the time where I almost felt out of control, I couldn't control my emotions, right? It was just the simplest things, like just getting mad at the kids, for something. Like one time we were eating dinner, and the Gage was being fine, nothing was going on, and Tara had made spaghetti, and out of nowhere, something just hit me, like right, and I just started, like and it's never really happened much since then, but like I felt like really reliving like civilian casualties, like like seeing like little kids, which really did happen, and I remember just I don't know what it was, I don't know what, maybe I had an MRE, spaghetti MRE or something, I don't know, but then when that just hit me, just rushed over me, and I like took off to the bathroom, and I just busted out, I just started uncontrolled sobbing and just this crazy, like it never happened in my life. I've never cried like that, or just just sobbing emotion. I couldn't control it. And Terry came in, I just couldn't stop shaking, and just nothing happened. But I mean, Gage was too little to realize what was. He's probably about 2 years old at that time. Terry was pregnant with Avery, so it was just this, I don't know, just a wild event, and other things like that. But then I would get Tara's comforting me, but I'd be like, I'm fine, like, oh, we're good, I got this. So I'm getting, as she's trying to help, I'm just getting mad at her because she's trying to do the right thing and, support me, whatever, but I just wouldn't allow it. Things, and I can see it. I mean, we're not blind to it. You can see what's happening once the fog clears out at that moment. But just the stubbornness and just that was just like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I don't need, not that I don't need you. I don't need you right now. Like, I got this. I've been dealing with this for years. Don't worry about it. But then I talked to that lady afterwards, and there was this many situations like that. I never really had, later on, we'll talk about it in a few, but like suicidal ideations or anything like that. I never really had much of that previously because I just wanted to get back overseas. I just really wanted to get back on deployment. I felt I was good there, and I could. Other than that one time, which I didn't really chalk that up as in Iraq, that like panic attack thing I had, I didn't really chalk that up as being an issue for me having problems overseas at all. But seeing her kind of brought it to light a little bit, like what potentially could happen, or how to get out of a moment like that, with the breathing and all the other things like that.
What'd she say?
She just, so the big thing was the 10-4 or the 4 seconds breathe in and
Hold it.
hold it, and then exhale it out, and they call it biofeedback stuff, but I didn't know what it was back then.
Sure.
And they were just like, do this, do that, the breathing.
You're like,
the mind games.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Right. Mind games. I don't do mind games. Like phonetic alphabet, but with a different word in your head. Just think of like A, then whatever, alligator, but don't say Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. You, in your head, just kind of come up with one, or do it backwards. The phonetic backwards
because it's distracting you from.
So your brain is now focused on one thing.
Do you still use that?
All the time.
Helps out.
Running out of words, but
yeah, I know.
Change the phonetic in my head, but I do it all the time. And plus, being aware of it is definitely a lot easier. Once you realize that you have it, like once you like, yep, I have it, and you're not afraid of it. You're not.
That's
doesn't bother
taking
you.
Control, man.
Yeah.
Accepting it, taking responsibility because no one else is going to. Exactly. It's my whole point. Awesome.
Yeah. But it took a long time to get to that point.
What did you? What kind of a beneficial support system? I mean, was from your support system? You have a support system with your family. How did your family take? I mean, you're talking. Your son Gage is 2 years old. He's just graduated high school. I know, and I mean, that's a long time. I mean, have you been good as far as you now for however long you have, from however long I've known you for less than years? So.
Definitely. Well, I mean, my biggest attack, our biggest mental health crisis ever, where I did go to suicidal ideations, when all that did, when I I was down to the plan, down to everything, down to the moment. After all my deployments and stuff, I came back and I worked over at I was in Korea. Backtrack a little bit. I came back from my last deployment, and we were stationed here at Fort Knox with the same brigade from 1ID came here. And once we came back home, the unit went away, and I went to Fort Benning. They finally said, no more deployments for you. You spent over 4 years over there. And I had just hit, I came back in 11. I had just hit 9 years, almost not even 10 years in the Army. And that's
Did you keep volunteering to go back?
Yeah, it's just re-enlisting or extending to go somewhere else to the next unit. Because I deployed with 4 different duty stations.
Oh,
each time. It was never the same. So I was like, the next one on the pass chart, I want to go there.
Wow.
I want to go there. I want to go there. And when I came up with the last one, they're like, no. Because I was only in 9 years, but I was a sergeant first class at the time, E7. And they said, no, you're going to go to Benning and teach senior leader course for become E7. Now I become staff sergeant, but before to be sergeant first class. And I was there for like 2 years, which was nice. It was a good break, taking me a little bit. And that was time I really didn't have too much because they were pretty busy teaching. You're working amongst other infantry or CAPS 19 Delta, 19 kilos, or 11 Charlies, 11 Bravos. And so you're working with, your peers and you're teaching them stuff. And it was really good. I was able to go to like Ranger school, airborne school, like do a bunch of schools and whatnot. This is, it was the first time in those 2 years. But then after the 2 years was up, I went to Korea, and it was just a 6-month tour. They were shutting Korea down. But anyway, when I came back, I was promotable for E8, and I got sent over to Ranger School to be an RI. The sergeant major there, Sergeant Major Matheny, was like, no, you're not going to stay here. You're E7 promotable, you're going to take a company. So I took a company at Mortar Company on Sand Hill at Fort Benning, Fort Moore now. But it was a great company. Everything was excellent. It was good to go. Loved being a first sergeant there. I was there for about 2 years. And me and my commander were really hard at physical training, probably the best shape of my life. We had aspirations maybe to try out for the best ranger competition. And because he came from Ranger Battalion. So we were both, really, let's go. Let's get in the best shape of our lives. And I really was. And one morning I got up to go to work, and everything just seemed like a dream. Everything was just a real hazy, and I don't really remember the whole process. I remember getting to work and walking in my company. I was normally the first one there, but I wasn't. Like my operations NCOs were there, Sergeant Hunter. And I walked in and I knew it was him because based on his office was right before my office. And I looked at him and I'm like, his face does not look like I don't remember him looking like that. Like I didn't recognize his face.
Right now.
I'm not actually there. And I was like looking at him like, hey, good morning. And he said at ease. And I didn't even say like, I was like, at ease. Hey, relax. And he was just still standing up, and I was like, okay, relax. But I'm looking at him like, who are you? I wanted to say, who are you? But I didn't. I just kept staring at him. He was like, you good for something? I was like, yeah, I'm good. So I went to my office. I sat down. I normally had a good normal routine, like finished my coffee, checked some late night emails and whatnot, and for the night before. And I was sitting in the chair, my head's back. And Sergeant Hunter comes in. He's like, are you good for something? You weren't looking so good. He's like, your shirt's on backwards. My PT shirt was on backwards. And I was like, oh yeah. Like I just grabbed it up. I made up some story. I don't know what I said, and clearly not believable. And so then right then my commander comes in. He's like, you good? And I thought I was in there for 5 minutes, and he was like, you good for something? I was like, yeah. He's like, formation. And I was like, and it was like the flag was about to go up like any second. And so one of my platoon sergeants was like, you good? I was like, take it. He's like, all right. So my senior platoon sergeant, he took the formation, for the reporting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then my commander comes in and he's like, you're not good. I was like, no, I think I'm all right. And so anyway, he's like, go home, man. Just take, are you good to drive? He goes, yeah, I'm fine, of course. I'm good to go. And get back home. Tara and the kids had already left she went to take them to school, and then she went to work. And I laid on the bed and fell asleep, and I was out. And then she came home thinking I just got home before her. And so she let me sleep, and then like 3 a.m. So I slept just passed on the bed, wake up, and I just felt, I couldn't really move. I couldn't really talk. I couldn't move my left side. My body seemed to not really want to do anything.
You had like sleep paralysis kind of?
Yeah, it sort of felt like, and then so she rushes me. We went to the hospital, the ER, and we basically had a stroke. And I was like, what? It was like they called it TIA or something like that. But they didn't know it because it wasn't anything to do. They did all these tests and stuff. It wasn't anything like a stroke, but anyway, it turned out to be a TBI. It was from something in my head, just wasn't. So it's like stroke-like symptoms.
Traumatic brain injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it took a while. I kind of got a little bit better. I just had a hard time walking and speaking was a little off, whatnot. Then fast forward, I wanted to get out of Fort Benning because my soldiers all saw me, down and out and stuff. So I was like, let me get a new place, let me get a new company somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. You always want to start fresh when you come.
Yeah.
Because you go somewhere, it's like no one knows you. You heal, it's clean slate. I'm with you.
I mean, it's a small world on the Army or military in general,
Still.
But it was at least for that moment in time.
Yeah.
Took another company at Fort Riley, in 234 Charlie Company, and I was there probably, I don't know, 8 months. We were ramping up to be on call for rapid deployments and stuff anytime at the Bradley Company. But it was basically a company team where they took the tank company and the infantry company and we combined them together. So we had this massive company team with tanks and brads, like 100 killed.
That's a company?
Yeah,
well,
we built it.
That's like
it's
a battalion.
Normally not. It is, yeah. Typically it's a battalion. That's why it's a company team. It's just plus stuff. It was like 200 plus people, in my company. And previously I had an HHC, a motor company, so it was a little bit easy. This was still much different. But it was awesome. We were like ramping up for anywhere I had to deploy within 72 hours.
How many troops is that on average?
Like with all like the support and everything, it was like over like 230, 230 people or so just in one company.
Wow.
Yeah, but we had like, the medics, maintenance, cooks, everything. Yeah, you could sustain yourself for, a few weeks until everybody else caught up with us. But it was great. It was like, I was really honored to get that company and, they picked me to take it. So I was like, let's go. This is awesome. We were doing our lab. We did gunnery, which the Mike Golfs out there, the master gunners can walk through the process of that whole, but making a gunnery tables for that is not an easy feat by any means. But they had awesome gunneries and stuff. And I was training my guys basically on squad sticks, just walk through the woods and then just clearing squad training exercise. We're just going to walk through and practice, different tactics and whatnot. We were just doing it was a dry fire. It wasn't a live fire. We were just out there doing night training. We were out there for about a week. And I went with the last platoon we were walking. We were out to come in for the night or the next morning we would come back. And I was walking with my platoon and I felt a little different. I felt kind of like a headache coming on or a migraine. I wasn't sure what, but I was like, I'll be all right. We have night vision on. And I go up there to get the platoon sergeant. I'm going to tell him something. Before I know it, I'm like, it just got real. My night vision is very blurred, just like a dark, just a blur. I'm just like, what is going on? What's going on? Just like thinking but I was on my face, like laying on the dirt in the grass. And a platoon sergeant came over. He was like, "Hey, first sergeant, you good?" I was like, "What? Yeah, I'm good. What are you talking about? I'm good."
You had your nods in the grass?
Yeah, I was like laying on my face. I just fell on my face. And I'm just laying there. I had like my ruck on the back and stuff. And I was just like, what is going on? And it's all, of course, it's all messed up. The kettle bar's all jacked, or the ACH all jacked up.
Did you fall asleep? Or did you just?
No, it was another stroke, another TIA or whatever you want to call it. And that one got bad. That's when it got, that was when it got real bad. I got put in the warrior transition unit for about 10 months where I had to like learn how to walk and talk again. And I was in a pathologist because I couldn't speak at all. I right and left-handed. I do everything else right-handed, but I couldn't use my left arm at all. I couldn't use my left leg, didn't work. And it was just, it worked a little bit, but just not fully at all. My left side of my face was paralyzed. And it was a crazy, crazy situation. But the warrior transition unit, awesome. The people there, my care team was amazing. They took real good care of me. And I was there with mental health and all that stuff. You'd see those people when I was working on, bouncing balls, ball of insects, whatever they call it, to get feeling back in your body and stuff.
Sure.
And it was good. It worked well. It made new pathways in the brain. Everything was going well. Everything seemed to be going really good for me physically. And then they said, you're not going to stay in the Army. There's no way you're going to stay in the Army. And I was like, come on, like, let me stay in. And I've been in about 16 years at this point, or yeah, 15, 16 years at this point. And I got the med board back. Well, prior to getting the results back, we knew it was going to be a no-go. So Tara and the kids moved back to Utah with my mom and dad in preparation for me to get out, medically retired. And I was living in our fifth wheel, our camper. We were living in that prior too, but I was living in that by myself with my dog in Kansas. And then once I got the results back, they said, or the MEB back, Medical Evaluation Board, they said, we can't retain you. And I was like, man. We flew to Washington, me and Tara, and I went to the board myself and tried to get myself to be able to stay in, spit my story to them, tell them how I'm good to go. And they're like, you're not good to go. Yeah. You're on a cane, man. Like, you're not good to go. So I was like, all right. And so that didn't work, obviously. So they still got me getting booted out. Then, before I heard about that program. So Tara and the kids move away. They're living in Utah. I'm by myself in the camper. I just put my dog down on top of it. My 14 years, a little Chiro. So Tara brought up my other dog, that little white dog I have over there, that little white one we have, Jack Daniels. And I was laying on the hammock we had outside of our camper, and I was like, this is it. Like, looking at a financial standpoint, I was trying to make it all make sense to myself. About like, if I had civilian life insurance on me back then, and then the military retirement, I'm about to be out. So if I were to, be gone right now, like, they would have, ample amount of money. They would be good, to be taken care of no matter what. Everything would be good. They're already living back home with my family. I was telling myself, I don't want to do it in the camper. I don't want to do it where I can destroy, a memory, which probably wouldn't leave a good one by any means, but I didn't want to do it in the camper. So I went on the hammock, sitting there. I had a gun, and was like, yeah, this is. And I was, I had a couple of drinks, but nothing wasn't drunk or anything like that. And was just about to do it,
What stops?
It's crazy. That damn dog. Seriously, like, I looked down, I was like, man, what am I gonna do with his ass? If I what is he gonna do? Like, how can I do this to him? I mean, my family's already gonna be, I fell in my family in the first place, but I'm like, at that immediate moment, I was like, what am I gonna do with Jack? Like, dang, I gotta do like.
That is your family.
Yeah, that was
part
like,
of your tribe.
absolutely. So I was like, man. So maybe I can ask my neighbor, the guy living next to me, and I was like, I can't. Like, they'd be like, why are you giving me your dog, bro? At like 3 in the morning.
That's a flag. Start giving stuff away. That's a flag.
I was just wanted to get him out of the way, So I was like,
well, they say precious items.
Yep, absolutely.
Start giving away your animals. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I was like, maybe he'll just hold it. I was going to tell him, hey, will you just watch him for a few minutes, And then, but I didn't. It was like 3 in the morning, so I was like, and it just sat there for a minute, and then just kind of broke down, like, wow, like, what the? I can't believe I just thought that. After a few minutes, like, that little bit of a pause of thinking about the dog, what I'm going to do with Jack, that bought me enough time to be like, okay, like, let's wait. And no kidding, that next week, I get a call and tell me about the COAD program, Continuation on Active Duty program. And so I applied for it. It bought me a little bit more time in the Army, like about a month, 6 weeks or something like that. And everyone told me before, not that they didn't know, but that the approvals aren't very common for the COAD. For someone to stay in once they're medically retired, like they're found medically unfit. And so I applied for it, and they accepted me. And I got a call from Mr. Mike Cox up at HRC, and he says, hey, your COAD's been approved. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then a little bit of a backtrack too, just prior to me getting the good news, we owned a house here in Vine Grove previously that we were renting out for 7 years to the same tenants. They called us in September and told us they're moving out at the end of October. And so I was like, that was another thing I was thinking about, like, how am I gonna get to Kentucky somehow, fix up the house, renovate it a little bit to sell it or rent it. So that was the other problem I had. I was like, there's no way, like, we're not gonna be able to do this financially we had to move and start a new job and everything else. So it was just so much coming over us. It was, insane. But they're moving out the end of October in 2018. And he calls me up and says, "Hey, you're approved for co-ed." I was, "Okay, cool. Can I stay here at Riley?" He said, "No, unfortunately, we have to bring you to Knox. That's the only place we have for you." And I was like, "Shut up."
Dude.
Shut up.
That's a God thing.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why it all worked out the way it did. Is I called Tara, told her the news, tried to make it like a joke, whatever. She just, started crying. She pulled the kids out of school. And on Veterans Day 2018 is when we made it. Pulled up to our house, a couple miles down the road here. And my dad drove the U-Haul, and we had our stuff in storage units and stuff. And it was awesome. Moved here.
Wow.
Took over the co-ed program, and I was put in charge to manage the whole program and do all the packets. And
what's the co-ed program do again?
Continuation on active duties or continuation on active reserve. So if you get medically found unfit to stay in, you can stay in under certain conditions. Like I couldn't run, I couldn't be infantry anymore because my leg was all, I couldn't walk much, or I was still learning how to speak, clearly, still working on that. But, and they let you just stay in, and you can fill another position within an organization that doesn't count against the unit's numbers. So it's basically just a free soldier that can help, whatever their specialty is.
How would a soldier try to get into that program?
So if they're going through a med board at all, then they just contact their PEBLO. That's like the person who is processing through the whole PEB, the whole med board, the whole physical disability agency, and they assign you a person who walks you through step by step, and they'll part of the process is to let you know about the co-ed process. Well, still people don't know about it. I mean, I was trying to be, get the word out there as many people as we can. We do a little bit better. I'm working with warrior transition units, or now called SRU, soldier recovery units.
Sure.
And we worked a lot with them when I was doing that job. And but ever since then, I mean, I still continue to seek treatment, all the time. I see mental health all the time. As I was here at HRC, they, for whatever reason, the Army promoted me to sergeant major, even though I'm still infantry, but I couldn't do infantry stuff, but they sent me to non-resident sergeant major academy and finished that a few years ago. And I went over to transition assistance program, which is TAP. Used to be SFL TAP, Soldier for Life.
Yeah.
Assistance program. Now it's just TAP. But I retired as a sergeant major for the Army's TAP program, which is a huge part of the mental health as well, because we have 100,000 soldiers come through our program every year. Wow. Soldiers that get out of the Army, and one less thing to have to worry about, employment. That's a huge, employment, where they're going to live, what they're going to do. So it's how much money they need to make, stuff like that. So it's a great program that we have now, and that's what on the civilian side, that's what I still do now, deputy program manager. On the contract side for the TAP program. So
fantastic.
Yeah, so it's really awesome, and helping these soldiers through, I mean, we can't do all that, but we just, as long as we can help them as much as we can with, employment and places to live and things like that. Good program.
Wow. Well, I'd like to put your information in.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least your email address, video, so they can, if anybody wants to reach out and
100%, yeah.
Look or ask questions regarding that. So, man, you took responsibility for it. You owned it, and it sounds like from that moment, besides that, that one. That's the thing. That's what I say is, like, you're never out of the fight, man. Like, it's a constant battle. And with me, like the story you have, your recovery from then to now, I mean, is gonna save, I don't know, hopefully a lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a great example of, we have the same illness, the same symptoms, the sweats, the night terrors, the intrusive thoughts, the command auditory, whatever it is, but the battlefields are different.
100%.
I'm a support guy. I mean, I have not been into the mess that you are, but it's like, I was a crime scene cleaner. I did all that.
I saw the stuff you've done, man. Ooh.
So, but trauma doesn't choose a location or a event or I know guys that I mean law enforcement look at first responders. So, but man, you have I know you decently. I know you a lot better now, and but I see your beautiful family. I see everything that you have accomplished, and just the life you're living is 100% like amazing. And
I'm blessed. I'm very, very blessed.
you are, I am, and but it is a constant battle. It's a constant battle, and I'm sure you're on a lot of kind of meds. I'm on meds. It's my goal one day is to be off the meds, but
100% agreed.
That's a long struggle. But it starts with taking responsibility, and I've been saying that for a while. And man,
you doing this is exactly it. It made me. I mean, I was hesitant.
you were.
This got pushed off for a couple of weeks because I just thinking about these stories, and I've had to rethink. And it's to bring them back up, which is a great thing. I need to do that more often. I'm really thankful that you let me do this because I didn't think it was going to be when you first asked. I was like, yeah, it's no problem. I'll knock that out.
Yeah,
just
it's like whatever.
I was like, hey, brother, I need some time. Like,
right.
This is deep. It's real, but it's awesome. It's amazing thing that you're doing, man. I'm really thankful that you're doing this.
Thank you. My thought of it is taking responsibility for it. Yeah, that's the big thing. Grab hold for it, but continuously acknowledging it's there. That has. Hey, it's there. It's what's mental. I'm messed up. Let's talk about it. I'm here. I'm manageable.
Yep.
I refer to it as an at-risk survivor. I mean, high risk is not at risk. You know what I mean? Yep. So I've been high risk. You've been high risk. And for me, you're an at-risk survivor, and you have an inspiring story, man. So I thank you so much, bro, for coming on and sharing it with us. And I'll put your information in. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, you can reach out. But again, thank you so much for coming on.